Welcome. My name is Marie, and you are listening to Hurricane in My Life. Hurricane in My Life is a podcast where I share my stories, life experiences that are ups and downs. I also occasionally, as you know, if you've been listening for a while, use my podcast as a way to vent and share more than ups. Usually a lot of downs. However, today will maybe be a surprise. Each episode is different and unique. So please sit back, relax, grab some water, as it's best for you, and best to get at least 64 ounces in a day. I want to pause for just a second. Please don't forget that sometimes trigger warnings are needed, they're necessary, they are. So if you feel the topic of today's show is too much for you, or makes you kind of have like that not right feeling, make sure that you do the right thing for you. And maybe that means don't listen. Go ahead, skip. That won't hurt my feelings. Or maybe save it for a time where you would be okay to listen. That's okay too. Please take the necessary steps you need to take care of you, as that's number one. Reach out to your safe person or people to recover. And remember, I am not a professional. I am just a scarred up person trying to educate others about my heartaches and life tragedies. With all that being said, let's get started, shall we? Hey y'all, it's me. This week, I have two topics. The first being domestic violence awareness, and the second, it is also bullying prevention awareness. So the first topic, I just want to mention that there are resources out there for people that they can get help from, and I can share that in this episode. But first of all, I want to share that domestic violence does not have to be physical. It can also be verbal, and it can also be financial. So keep that in mind. And it's not always easy for a person to walk away from that situation. It's not a 1, 2, 3 and you're done. It can take a lot. It takes a lot of confidence. It takes a lot of preparation. And it takes a lot of thought. And it's not okay to judge somebody in that situation. And it's very easy to say, well, if I was in your situation, I would just leave. Cool that you have that mentality. However, when you physically live into the situation, that's not always the case. So, kind of like the true definition of domestic violence, I just want to put it out there, is violence committed by someone in the victim's domestic circle. This includes partners, ex-partners, immediate family members, other relatives, family, friends. The term domestic violence is used when there is a close relationship between the offender and the victim. There are 5 types. I've already mentioned one, physical. I've also mentioned verbal violence, which can include hate speeches, psychological violence. I didn't mention that one. And I didn't mention sex violence either. Psychoeconomic violence. So, again, please don't be judgy. And it's not okay to hate people. It's not okay to be mean. It's helpful more to them to be understanding, compassionate, caring, all the things. And you can get help by texting START to 88788. And you can also call 800-799-7233. And for local information, I can have that in my show notes. So again, abuse can happen in many different ways. It can happen with identity and all the other things that I've already mentioned. It's good to have a safety plan. It's good to get help. It's good to get the law involved if it's safe and if you are able to. And just remember, there are people out there that are willing to help, that will love you, and that will care about you. And for the last portion of the episode, here you go, everybody. Get ready, get excited. Not really. So, another tough topic is bullying and being someone with a disability, specifically a physical disability. I am no stranger to this topic. I can probably think of a million different stories where I have been the victim of a bully. Now, I've had many bullies reconcile with me and tell me that they were sorry for the things that they did when they were shitheads. But, you know, they grew up, and they have. I can actually say there's a handful of people that were nastier than nasty to me as kids, and I can actually tolerate them as an adult. And that's really good for me, and the fact that those people are somewhat in my everyday social circle to a point, give or take. Some of them actually work for businesses that I patronize every once in a while. So, I mean, when you come from a small town, you know, things happen, especially when people don't leave that small town. And I'm one of those people that I didn't leave my small town. Did I want to at one time? Yes, I did. But then, as I got older, I just could never bear with the thought of leaving my family. I love my family a lot. I'm very close with majority of my family, pretty much. So, that was a no-go. Anyway, back to topic. So, there's a couple incidences that come to mind for me. I've always been a target because of my walking issues. I've always been a target because of my braces. I've always been a target because of not having bowel and bladder control. I've been a target for a lot of different reasons, and it's not really fair to me at all, having to go through a lot of the things that I've gone through. I have had kids when I was younger. I think it was grand to yank my pants down. Yep. I have been de-pantsed more times than I can really care to recall. I have been picked on because of my braces. I have been picked on because of the way I walk. I have been picked on because of just being different. Realistically, just being different. And it's really sad to say in 2023 that if you are different, you are an outcast, you are not wanted, you are looked upon as something that is contagious. I've had that happen in the past. Now, as an adult, I don't get harassed too bad, and usually the people that do still harass me, I have no problem giving it right back to them, because quite frankly, that's why they do it. They look for the reaction. So it all depends on the type of reaction I give. I have had bullies literally pick me up from one bus seat to put me in another, one that was more suitable to me. I have been called really bad things. I've been called the R word. And I have often used the R word myself. Should I? Absolutely not. Because honestly, if you want something to change, you have to be the example of said change. So it's really my bad. Really bad when I do that. But it comes out of frustration, and it does come out of anger. Now, I'm not saying that's okay. I am not saying that's okay. I am explaining where it comes from when I use it. I have been outcasted. I have been put to the side. I have been a lot of things. Sorry. A lot of things. Bullying is something that's very passionate to me to advocate against, and the prevention of it, because there has been lots of times in my life, not so much anymore, but when I was younger, where a lot of the bullying that I had to deal with, I really, really, truly thought I'd have been better off dead. And as you know, last month was suicide prevention, and I opened up about that. So, what can we do as a community, as friends, as family, do to make sure these things don't happen? First and foremost, one thing that I never got majority of the time when other kids picked on me was justice. I can think of at least 2 different times where I did not get justice. I actually ended up being the student that got punished because of my actions towards another student's actions. And looking back, it wasn't the right way to handle myself. But you know, when you're little, you don't really think about the consequences of your actions when you're really just defending yourself, when no one else will. And schools to this day have to do a better job of being the protectors of the students when they're in their care. Okay? That is still a thing. There are still kids that go home and do things to themselves because they think they'd be better off dead. They'd be better off not being around for a lot of different things. There are kids that they get picked on or whatever, and they think violence is the answer. And again, violence is not the answer. I will say, though, I've been there. Have I gone to school, though, with the intention to harm somebody else? No. The only thing I ever did that had intention of harming somebody else was when I took my braces off, sat on the floor to take them off, took my shoes off, and whipped them at another child for making comments about my braces. And I basically told them that if they Blinken thought they were so great, that Blinken there they are. Have at them. And do I regret doing that? In a way, yes. But in another way, no. Because I ended up getting punished for it. One, because of the language I used. And two, because I then used my braces as a weapon. It was not looked at that I was provoked to do what I did. I am not saying what I did was the right way to handle what happened. I am saying that had I not been provoked, now hear me again, had I not been provoked to do what I did, I'd have never done it. I learned very quickly at a very young age to defend myself. And a lot of times that ended up having to be in a physical way. I have had people try to grab me, and they learn very quickly that they will get a fist to their face, to their throat, to their chest, wherever I can punch them. And that is pretty much my final warning. Don't mess with me. However, again, I am not promoting this. Unfortunately, I never had the backing beyond my parents to deal with a lot of the traumas and triggers that I have. I am in therapy now, and that is helping my triggers and my traumas. However, I didn't start that till 3 years ago. And that really doesn't help 9-year-old Marie, 10-year-old Marie, 11-year-old Marie, 12-year-old Marie, 13-year-old Marie, 14-year-old Marie, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old Marie. And actually, I can't really say I had a whole lot of teasing at the age of 19 because, quite frankly, I was an adult, and most people learned by the time I was like 13 that if you talk the talk, you better walk the walk. So what can be done? Teach kids acceptance early. Teach them that it's okay to ask questions. Go ahead, let them go up to somebody who's different and let them ask the questions. Because I can guarantee you that if I have a little kid come up to me and ask me why I have those, and they usually mean my braces, if I tell them because I need them to walk, they leave it be. They are satisfied with that answer. They don't need a technical answer. They don't need a long, dragged out answer. They are perfectly fine with hearing me say, I need them because they assist me to walk. Now, on the other hand, when I had just became a teenager, I had an adult in my life who didn't know me, was kind of just getting to know me, walk up to me and ask me what the blank happened. Did a horse throw you off of it? Because of the braces. I have a family member who's a youngster, and he actually likes my braces because they are colored. Otherwise, I know kids are very intimidated by the equipment. When someone uses it, they're intimidated by braces, by boots, by wheelchairs, by walkers, by canes, because they're not too sure about them. But that's where education comes in. That's where it comes in. I have had a grown woman who, since the last time she made a big deal of my braces, hasn't talked to me since, because my best friend decided to have some choice words with her, which I scolded her for because they weren't nice. However, she has a point. They had to be said. The person wasn't getting it. So this person, she would ask me why I still had my boots. They're the only thing I can wear usually with my braces, unless I use a man's tennis shoe. But she looks at the brace as a boot. And she thought in her head that I should be able to get rid of them. That's not the case with a brace. When it comes to a medical actual boot, then yes, that can be the case. But when it comes to a brace, that is never the case in my experience. I'm talking about me, not anybody else, but me. You have the braces, you have the inability to walk normal. In my experience, I've had it my entire life. I've had braces since I was about 6 months old, give or take. And the reason for that is when I was younger, my hips used to pop out of joint very easily. And it was with hopes to keep them in place so that I had these really annoying ones that came all the way up, and they actually had straps around my upper body to keep them on me and to keep my hips in place. So they have been a major talking point my entire life. But this particular lady, she really upset me. And I don't know if it hadn't been for my best friend, if this lady wouldn't have let it go. Now, I don't know if she had dementia issues. I don't know if she had, Alzheimer's issues. I don't know if she was just really stinking ignorant. I don't know. I don't know what her problem was. But I think I had seen her at a certain place where I live. I don't know, at least a half a dozen times. And I swear, every time I saw this lady, she would ask me why I didn't get rid of my boot. And I would explain to her, because of the kindness of my heart, that they were not boots. And that they were not going anywhere anytime soon. Like, ever. And I think it had to have been at least the 6th time I had it. I had it with this woman. But I could not take it upon myself to be mean to her. And I just looked at her and said, I have explained it to you once. I have explained it to you more than once. Like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. I'm like, here's number 6. Okay? I'm like, and this better be the last time. Or I can't promise I'm gonna be nice the next time. So I talked to her and she goes, well, I just don't understand. And I go, well, I'm not sure what you don't understand. I've explained it to you 6 different ways. Told you the same thing in translation. The exact same thing every single time. So I had to walk away because I was just mad. And I ended up walking away crying. And my good old bestie, I love her. She's actually got a birthday coming up. It'll be on Thursday, so it'll be past by the time this episode comes out. So happy birthday, bestie. Yeah, my bestie, the shithead that she is, walked up to the lady and told her that I had told her more than once why I had the braces, that they were braces, not boots, and that they were never going anywhere because they're not. That I would literally have to have them until the day I die. Although she didn't say it as quite as nice as what I just put it. She used a couple F-bombs and some other lovely words that I won't say. I won't do it. I'm trying to have a episode where there's no bombs of bad words. Okay? And my best friend walked away from her and then came after me to find out if I was okay, which obviously I was not, but she did her best to get me to stop crying. And I think eventually she did get me to stop crying, but it took her a while. And this lady, oh my goodness. Now, anytime she sees me, and especially if she sees my best friend, because my best friend is usually not far behind if I'm around, she doesn't look at me, she doesn't talk to me, she doesn't do anything in my direction. And I am perfectly fine with that. I am perfectly fine with her acting as if I'm not in existence. Because I don't need her drama. I don't need her negativity. I don't need her bringing me down. I already have enough insecurities because of my disability. I don't need people like that in my life to bring up things that aren't resolved and some things that are, but have a way of still sneaking up and then biting me in the freaking butt. I don't need it. Not today, Satan. Just saying. And that brings me to today. Today I was in the cab going somewhere, going to actually a mental health facility that I like to hang out at. It's a safe place for someone to hang out with that's struggling. And the driver said that they had to pick up somebody else, and it's a shared ride cab. So it's like, okay, go, you do you, okay? Because where she was dropping off the other person wasn't far from where I was going. So it only made sense because she was on one side of town to get both of us and then bring us on the other side of town. Because we were both going to the same direction. 2 different places, but the same direction. And that's all that matters. Anyway, this lady literally, I kid you not, literally grabbed my leg, pulled it to her, and goes, what's this? Got winter boots already? That's my leg, and I'd appreciate it if you let it go. Now, originally, the driver was talking about dropping off the old lady first. Okay. After this incident, she didn't think twice. She didn't say nothing to me. She dropped me off first. And I'm kind of glad she did, because there's just some people in this world that there's no words for. There's no words for that kind of ignorance. There really isn't. I probably could go on a little bit more, but this is almost 25 minutes long, and Miss Daphne just came out of hiding and is being like, Mommy, pet me. Probably because she senses that Mommy is kind of uptight, because this is a tough subject for Mommy. Isn't it, baby? Yeah. So I'm gonna go love up on my Kiki, and you can be on the watch for more examples of how I have been bullied in my life, on my social media, or on my blog. Thank you, everybody. Much love. Bye. Hey, y'all. Thank you again for listening. It shows that what I'm doing is for good and that people do care. And I appreciate that. So, thank you for the love. Just know you're loved, you're cared for, you are all the things. Here are some ways that you can show support for me and show some love. You can find me on all social medias, like Facebook and Instagram, and you can also find me on Pinterest. I'm trying to figure out how to put my blog on there, just to get some new people to read it, look at it, hopefully follow it. So if you do those things already, you are amazing. You are wonderful. Just know I love you a lot. And you can email me at sweetthoughts.by-Marie. No, that is how you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. You can email me at sweetmariethoughts, S on the end of thoughts, 2022 at outlook.com. Again, I appreciate any way you support me, whether it's listening to my words as I speak them, whether it's reading my words that I have written. Just know you are the best for supporting me in any way you have supported me. Thank you very much for all you've done. It really helps me. in so many ways, that more than I can really express. I am at a loss of expression of words. I really am. One thing that I know by your support, whether you read my words, listen to my words, or both, I know that I'm on the right path and that I'm doing the thing that I am supposed to be doing, which is sharing my stories, which is sharing my life experience. And I hope it does what it's supposed to, which is touch your life in a way to know you are not alone. I hope nobody that listens to me ever considers themselves to be a nobody. Please know you're somebody. You are somebody to somebody, whether you realize it or not, whether it is expressed or not. You are somebody to somebody, okay? That might not make sense, but I really mean it. You mean something to someone, not just yourself. Just know your love always, whether it's by someone in your life or by God. I have my days where I feel He's the only one that backs me up and has me in my corner for the next round. You know what I'm saying? He has me ready for the next fight. But realistically, we all have people that love us, even though people tend to have a really cruddy way of showing that they love and care for someone. And that hurts. I know. I get it. I do. That's all I can say, people, is never forget, you are somebody. You are loved. You are needed. You are wanted. And sometimes a little extra prayer is all that's needed to help you figure that out. Or maybe a conversation. Again, I know I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Never give up.